We respectfully acknowledge the University of Arizona is on the land and territories of indigenous peoples. Today, Arizona is home to 22 federally recognized tribes, with Tucson being home to the O'odham and Yaqui. Committed to diversity and inclusion, the university strives to build sustainable relationships with sovereign Native nations and indigenous communities through education offerings, partnerships, and community service.
Welcome to this episode of the PA Path Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Henry, and we are glad you can join us as we seek to better understand the PA profession. Well, hello and welcome to Season 4, Episode 69. Today is our season-ending reflection. It's a little short episode for Steph and I to share our thoughts about the past season and to give you a surprise about the upcoming Season 5. So we hope you enjoy it. Please be sure to listen till the end so you can hear about the future of the podcast. Well, hey, Steph, it's another season under our belt.
One more?
Yeah, it's been crazy. What a wonderful group of people that we were able to interview this last season. And I know at the end of today's reflection, we have some really exciting news to share with our listeners. But as always, we always talk about kind of what the themes were and what we learned about the last season. Before we dive into the actual episodes, do you want to hear some data?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I know data is super exciting, but we're now at about almost at 22,000 downloads all time.
Great. Lots of people listening.
Yep. Last 30 days, we've had 1,250 downloads. Last 7 days, 239. So it continues to be consistent, steady stream of great listeners, and we do appreciate all of you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've heard from a lot of listeners. We continue to hear from a lot of pre-PA students who are utilizing this podcast as a way to just get more information about the profession, about programs that they might be interested in. And, I think we continue to have kind of a broad group of PA educators that are listening too, just to learn a little bit more about their colleagues and about, best practices and how things are being done in other places. So now, that's one thing that I've enjoyed this season. I think the first few seasons, I think Kevin and I kind of started through our own professional Rolodex, and we really met with a lot of people that both of us knew pretty well, kind of our friends and professional colleagues in PA education. But I know at least this semester, I've got education on the brain. Right. Nothing like an educator to
That's
put
right.
things in terms of a semester. Right. But I think this season, I was able to meet quite a few people that I just hadn't met before and didn't know. And, I think we had some unique themes this season that it was just great to learn about new people and new things.
Yeah, I agree. We still continue to have the United States be our number one listening audience. Any guess on what the number 2 country is?
Canada?
No, actually Canada's number 4.
The Netherlands?
No, not even in the top 10.
Wow. Okay. You got me.
I think it's all my relatives from Ireland.
Right on.
And then we have seven in Japan, 7 downloads from Japan. I'm guessing those are USC grads who I've seen on Instagram are going to Japan after graduation.
Great.
But you never know, right? Number 5 is Israel. Number 6 is Germany. And then tied for 7, 8, 9, and 10 are India, Mexico, the Netherlands. I'm sorry, Netherlands wasn't in the top 10, and Zimbabwe.
Gotcha. Well,
so yeah.
It's a broad reach.
Yeah, for what it's worth. So, we started out this season talking about street medicine with Brett Feldman in Los Angeles, and learned about that great movement out there that has been growing exponentially. Then we spoke to Jeannie McHugo from the University of North Dakota. I don't know about you, but for me, in developing a new program that's focused on rural, for me, that was just so interesting to hear Jeannie talk about her success in North Dakota.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are truly a program that their program delivery is consistent with the mission and what their program sets out to do.
Yeah, and that it's one of the things I love about our profession is pretty much all of our guests have a focus and they stick to it. So we had Kara Carruthers from Meharry Medical College's PA program.
Yep, absolutely. And past president of PAEA. So that was good to catch up with her.
Yeah, and I had no idea she had taught anatomy before becoming a PA. That was a pretty cool story.
Yeah, Kara's one of my fellow Nebraskans, fellow Omaha gals. So
yeah, that's right.
We are sisters.
Deepu Patel from the University of Pittsburgh and all the interesting things they're doing out there.
Yeah, really, really cutting edge information on AI and education and some of the technology that they're utilizing in their educational realm.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be a program to watch for sure.
Mm.
Kim Cavanaugh at Gannon University.
Yes, and Kim, not only the great things that they're doing at Gannon, but also, some of her vast assessment knowledge, and some kind of learning a little bit about how the national standardized exams came about and continue to be maintained.
Yeah, we finally got the University of Utah on with Jared Spackman.
Yes,
which that's a tough one. When we did the Jared episode, who do you interview from that school? I mean,
right.
They all are legends.
Utah has a long and storied history of producing real leaders in the profession.
Yeah, and we are still excited to bring on Don and Kathy Peterson, most likely in the beginning of season 5. So
yeah.
We can't possibly cover the profession without bringing them in. So that'll be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly pillars of our profession as well.
Then I reached into my back pocket with Dr. Arta Backshande from Orange County, who is doing just incredible work in artificial intelligence and the delivery of healthcare with AI tools. And he's a big proponent of PAs and NPs and delivering that care, and has had some amazing outcomes with Alignment Healthcare. Yeah, so it's great to have Art on. Chris Hannafin from Seton Hall University.
Yep. Had a great talk with Chris and learned a little bit about what's going on in South Orange, New Jersey.
Yeah, and he had an interesting path. The surgical path that so many of our colleagues have done and burned out, and then end up doing something else. So Nina Maltak from the University of Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to hear what's going on in their program and learn a little bit more about the landscape in Florida.
Then we got a chance to interview one of our legends, Jim Cawley.
Yeah, it was always great to talk to Jim. I mean, he really has a longitudinal look at our profession that not many of us really have the opportunity to see. He was there at the beginning and has really seen the profession evolve over time, and kind of has been there for it all. So it's been really interesting. It was really interesting to listen to him.
Yeah, I love how he's always had a collaborative heart for team-based research. I think it's the way to make it easy for all of us. Mm-hmm. And then we ended last week with Paola Gonzalez and Christian Reynosa from the PAs for Latino Health.
Yeah, I was really excited to hear about some of the great work that they're doing in that organization. I mean, I know personally, I got right on my email after we recorded that episode and sent some information out to my own students and said, hey, you guys gotta check this out. You got to look at some of the resources that they have available.
Yeah. And I wonder if, as I look at their response on social media, I mean, they have a lot of followers, and
they do. Mm-hmm.
And my sense is that organization is doing really well with trying to promote what they're doing. And I'm sure there are other caucuses at AAPA that we could cover in the coming seasons that also are doing really important work in various areas. So, well, Steph, this has been a great 4 seasons with you. And I know you and I have been working behind the scenes for season 5 and beyond. Yep. We were looking for some solutions because, frankly, it's a lot of work to do this behind the scenes for both of us. And we're both really busy colleagues.
We're busy folks.
We're busy folks. And yet we've had such great feedback from listeners that we didn't want to shut it down. No. And honestly, we've only told the story of maybe a fifth of the programs in the United States.
Yeah, there's still a lot of folks that we need to talk to.
So with that in mind, we do have an exciting announcement to provide for our listeners for the upcoming season. Steph, you want to do the honors?
Absolutely. So we are excited to announce that beginning this fall in August, we will be partnering with PAEA to continue to offer the PA Path podcast as a joint venture between Kevin and I and PAEA.
Yeah. And that's great, right? We both served as presidents of that organization. We have a big heart for them and all the work that they do to help our educational programs around the country. So it just seems fitting that since they're the educators, right? They're the lead on education.
Absolutely. I think this is a great way for us to kind of continue the mission of this podcast and to, really allow it to reach the target audience that we really want to reach.
Absolutely. For me, the thing I'm excited about most is I know we have a roughly 25K pre-applicants every year. Not all new, right? Many are re-applicants, but let's say even a third of those are new.
Yeah.
PAEA is the source for information. They go there to look into CASPA. They go there to look into the programs.
Yeah.
So now PAEA can put this in front of them to give them an additional resource for information.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. I think, as the word starts to spread a little bit, I think it'll become, hopefully, our goal is for it to really become a source of information. If you're really interested in a particular program, I think for people that have been listening all this time, they've really recognized that, there's kind of a depth and a richness of information that you gain about each program that we've interviewed from listening to, the leaders within those programs and, not only their personal history, but some of the things that are unique about each one of those programs and really kind of gets to the heart of the program, which, you can look at summaries online and, you can read people's web pages and their mission statements, but to really hear from the horse's mouth, I think it really kind of lends a richness to the information that you gain about a program when you really hear from the program themselves.
Absolutely. In terms of like expectations, well, what should our listeners expect for the podcast moving forward? Anything different?
I don't think really anything different. I think more of interesting guests really exploring all of the programs that we have not yet had an opportunity to reach out to. And I think we want to continue to explore some of the other areas that PAs get into, places that PAs are working, initiatives that PAs are undertaking. I think we really want to try to get to the breadth and depth of experiences that you can have as a PA, not just in clinical practice, but in service and a lot of other areas that you can venture into as a PA as well.
Yeah, I agree. And I do think the possibility of their Rolodex being a lot bigger than ours is going to make this a much more interesting process, so that we'll be able to reach out to many of the programs that we haven't had a chance to connect with and learn more about the profession than we already have.
Yeah, Kevin and I have kind of reached close to the end of our Rolodex.
I know. We don't have enough friends. I'm just kidding. So it's my understanding that we'll be planning on a start with PAEA's support the second week of August. So,
yep.
So we're going to take a short break so Steph and I can catch up on some things with our careers and focus on some family time and vacation this summer. But we're excited to bring you a whole new group of people in August. And most likely we'll start with Sarah Fletcher, the CEO of PAEA, who's going to come on and talk about this venture.
And with that, we sign off of season 4 and look forward to season 5.
Yeah. See you later and have a great summer, Steph.
Bye-bye.
Well, we want to thank our listeners for listening to us for the past 4 seasons, giving us your time, your thoughts, and just your loyalty. It's been really wonderful to hear from you, and we are so thankful that you're part of this journey. Tune in August for the release of season 5 with our partnership with PAEA, where you're going to hear from a wide variety of people in the profession, including more programs, more leaders, and more perspectives. Until next time, we wish you success with whatever path you're walking in life, and thank you for joining us. The purpose of this podcast is to provide news and information on the PA profession and is for informational purposes only. The views and perspectives expressed on this podcast are those of the speakers and guests and do not necessarily reflect the positions or policies of the University of Arizona.